with Lauren Stallone.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. London police are investigating after a report of shots being fired downtown. Police were called to the area of Piccadilly and Talbot just before 3 this afternoon. A witness who didn't want to be identified says 2 vehicles were seen entering the parking lot of this commercial building. Shots were fired out of one of the vehicles and both sped off. Police were seen gathering shell casings from the parking lot, but they say no injuries have been reported. The investigation has been handed over to the London Police Guns and Gangs section. 2 local organizations are speaking out after Crown lawyers decided not to appeal the World Junior sexual assault acquittals. With more on their reaction and the change they still want to see, here's Sean Irvin.
The executive director of the London Abused Women's Centre is disappointed the Crown will not appeal the not guilty verdicts in the high-profile case involving 5 former members of Canada's 2018 World Junior Hockey team. But Jennifer Dunn is not surprised.
Like, we weren't living in this world where we thought that there was going to be an appeal and all of a sudden the verdict was going to look a little bit different or totally different. So we figured that this was going to happen.
But that does not take away pain and frustration.
So this is not a matter of, innocent until proven guilty. They're not guilty. It doesn't mean nothing happened. And I think that we need to remember that.
The acquittals of the 5 men came in a verdict delivered on July 24th. Justice! Supporters of the women at the center of the case rallied before and after the verdict was read. Dunn fears the attention around the trial and the failure of the appeal will discourage some victims from stepping forward in the future.
This case was very high level, and I think anytime a situation like this is talked about, it does make women think a little bit more about what they're going to do.
It is a reality her organization and London-based Inova are looking to mitigate. Both have issued a joint statement reminding women there are supports available.
At like a grassroots level on the ground, need to work really hard to build that trust with community so then women and girls know that they're not alone and that we will support them.
In the aftermath of the trial, Dunn is also calling for all judges to be required to take sexual assault awareness training. She also wants politicians to support victims.
If we're going to move the needle at all, we need proper legislation, proper education, proper awareness, proper funding to see what we can do to make that better for women and girls.
In London, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
A team effort today in Port Stanley helping a man who was struggling in the water. According to one of the bystanders who stepped in, the man had slid off a flotation device and wasn't moving. She swam over, lifted his head, and called for help. Others quickly joined in, helping the man who appeared to have experienced a medical event. Port Stanley fire crews and local paramedics transported the man to hospital.
There was actually 3 people that were CPR certified that started working on the gentleman immediately. The wife had just gone on a little stroll down the beach, and when she came back, she was incredibly thankful that all the pedestrians were working so hard to help her husband. Probably within 10 minutes or so, fire and EMS showed up and took over. But yeah, everybody really rallied together and did their best to help him.
Provincial police have concluded a death investigation in West Lorne with no foul play suspected. Neighbors had told CTV News a significant police presence met on a property in the small town Tuesday afternoon. Today, police issued a release saying a body was found inside a home, but after an investigation involving the chief coroner and the forensic pathology unit, they do not consider the death suspicious. Here on OPP say they are investigating after a senior was hit by a driver and killed this morning in Seaforth. According to police, it happened around 7 a.m. at Main and Godrich Streets. They say the person driving the pickup truck involved remained at the scene. Police say the driver hit a 77-year-old who was rushed to hospital but did not survive. A sentencing decision just hours ago for a man who stabbed a former friend to death in 2022. As Nick Paparella reports, the killer took a lesser plea and will serve almost 5 more years.
It was a vicious attack that occurred between two friends in the Home Depot parking lot near Dundas and Clark Road in East London on the morning of August 7th of 2022. At his sentencing hearing, the court heard how Anthony Centeno So, who was also known by the nickname Asian Tony, got upset with 31-year-old Devin Cherry Rook over drugs. Both men had been living in homeless encampments in the area and involved in London's drug subculture when the 30-year-old Centeno So stabbed Cherry Rook 3 times, with the deadliest wound being to the thigh. Centeno So told the court the incident was a blur because he was high on crystal meth and fentanyl at the time. Originally charged with second-degree murder, Centeno So pled guilty to the lesser charge of manslaughter. The Crown asked that he serve 8 to 12 years behind bars, while the defense requested 6 years. In handing down his sentence, Justice Ian Leach said Centeno So had more than 50 criminal convictions, typical of someone with serious drug addictions. Caught on nearby surveillance cameras, the judge said the attack was lethal and only lasted 26 seconds, and he left Mr. Cherry Rook without calling for assistance. In the end, Justice Leach sentenced Centeno So to 9 years. With credit for time already served, he will spend almost 4.5 more years behind bars. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
A new strategy is taking shape to overhaul London Middlesex community housing. It comes weeks after an assessment deemed the overall grade for those homes as poor. With more on this new approach, here's Daryl Newcomb.
We expect to have a report come to council.
Deputy Mayor Sean Lewis, who sits on the board of London Middlesex Community Housing, says a master regeneration plan for the region's stock of public housing is underway. It'll determine which public housing sites should be retained, which should be revitalized, which would benefit from a significant redevelopment, and if any should be sold off. The goal is to increase the overall number of rent-geared to income units and improve the overall quality of buildings.
If we're going to build more rent-geared to income housing, some of it is going to have to be on existing land, because one of the most expensive pieces in developing housing right now is land costs.
City Council was told that a condition assessment of 31 LMCH properties found only 7 were in fair condition, the remainder in poor or very poor condition. Bringing the overall assessment up to a fair condition would require $34.6 million over the next 10 years, and over $110 million to achieve a good condition.
Many of these properties were built in the 1960s, 1970s, and so all these properties are falling into the same trap, which is aging infrastructure.
Since that meeting, LMCH administration has continued working on the strategy to assess each property's future potential. A report to the board recommended business cases be prepared for significant redevelopment of 3 properties: Ladybrook Crescent in South London, Bellas Street in Strathroy, and the Limberlost community in Northwest London.
In this phase, we are only looking at the properties based on their physical condition. We haven't assessed market value, redevelopment potential, and what that looks like. That will be the next step.
The deputy mayor emphasizes that the plan for each property will be unique based on that property's potential. However, in the case of Limberlost, he suggests you could look at what's happening here at reimagined Southdale. Density was increased on the property by tearing down some aging townhouses to make space for a 3-phase development totaling 165 apartments.
More rent-geared income housing in the City of London, without it just being taxpayer give us more money, but actually taking advantage of the properties we have and leveraging those as assets.
Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
Thousands of music fans are expected in Ingersoll this weekend for the 2nd annual Good for the Soul Music Festival. With more on this event and this year's headliner, here's Brian Bicknell.
Jay Panasico listens as Sass Jordan comes on the radio. A small taste of what's to come this Saturday in his hometown of Ingersoll.
The entire community's behind it.
The stage is being set at Memorial Park as Panasico organizes the 2nd annual Good for the Soul Music Festival. This is what it looked like last year as Helix rocked this park.
I am going to do a concert at Good for the Soul in Ingersoll.
This year's headliner is Sass Jordan,
who is just an absolute Canadian gem. We got my friend from London, Ontario, Charlie Edwards, coming. The guy's going to be the next Canadian superstar. He's just amazing. He just released an album. This kid's going places. We got One Way Streets, who were here last year. They're the Hometown Boys. Then another band from town, a girls band with a guy drummer called Misconduct, and they're ready to rock.
Several dozen local businesses are sponsoring the event, including Chelmsford Pizza.
It's good for us as a community to get together and have a good time together and enjoy ourselves and celebrate what living in a small town is, community.
Meantime, at Ingersoll Rail's House of Brews, they've brewed up a special festival batch.
Well, this is Boxcar 73, which is a cream ale. It's a nice, light, refreshing beer, which we figured would be perfect for an outdoor event.
The park opening to the public at 5 o'clock on Saturday, with the first band taking the stage at 6:30. But get here early. Some 4,000 people are expected down here at Memorial Park for the Good for the Soul Music Festival.
Tomorrow's concert is dedicated to my dad, Nick Panasico, who was at one time Canada's hottest promo man, and I hope I make him proud.
In Ingersoll, Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Coming up, put on a hard hat and go back in time. How a historic mine is taking a different approach when it comes to attracting tourists. Canada's main stock index gained today as the federal government announced it would remove some of its retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, lifting hopes for a trade deal. In Toronto, the TSX added 278 points, and in New York, the Dow gained 846, while the Nasdaq is up 396. The Canadian dollar gained a fifth of a cent today, and on commodity markets, gold gained almost $37 an ounce, and oil is up 14 cents a barrel. A reversal in Ottawa today in Canada's approach to the trade war with the U.S. Prime Minister Mark Carney says he's removing retaliatory tariffs on some U.S. products, complying with the existing North American Free Trade Deal. With more on the announcement, here's Abigail Beeman.
After a phone call with the American president yesterday, the Prime Minister is now trying to sell Canadians on the idea that no new deal with the United States is actually the best trade deal in the world.
We're matching what the United States has done, what the president has done. We have the best deal of any country with the United States right now.
As of September 1st, Canada will drop counter tariffs on U.S. goods covered by CUSMA. Those have been an irritant for Trump, and the Prime Minister indicated that in their Thursday phone call, Trump said getting rid of them would kickstart negotiations. Carney saying they're now intensifying. In the Oval Office, the president now saying he wants to be very good to Canada.
He's removing his retaliatory tariffs, which I thought was nice, and we're going to have another call soon. Okay. Yeah, we had a very good call.
You're getting closer towards an agreement on trade?
I like them.
Carney is trying to sell this as matching the U.S., using that word multiple times, since the U.S. has no tariffs on CUSMA-exempt goods. But the tariffs that remain from the U.S. on steel and aluminum are higher than Canada's.
We're not raising those today. We've matched the tariffs on autos, similar structure as the U.S. We do have a difference between our tariff on U.S. steel and our tariff on U.S. aluminum. Those are part of the intensive discussions that we're underway right now.
Ahead of the announcement, the Prime Minister brought Cabinet together in a virtual meeting, and the minister responsible for U.S. trade briefed the rest of caucus after. Carney also said the renegotiation of CUSMA could take as long as 18 months to work out. Trade experts say what happens there will be the real issue for the long term. The Prime Minister is also promising a new, quote, industrial strategy in September for all sectors hit by tariffs, mentioning autos and agriculture in particular. The Prime Minister has long talked about diversifying trade partners in the face of the U.S. trade war, and next week he heads to Germany to work on that, bringing along a handful of key ministers with him. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre responded to what he called concessions by the Prime Minister.
Mr. Carney being the negotiator he promised he would be, that he would get something after giving something. But not so. Today we learn that it has been yet another capitulation and climb down by Mark Carney. His elbows have mysteriously gone missing.
Poilievre pointed out that Carney did not get anything in return for the removal of tariffs and says today's actions continue the, quote, weakness Carney has shown on the world stage. Meantime, Ontario's premier is also reacting, saying on social media, I spoke with Prime Minister Carney following his announcement to stress the need for an agreement with the United States that provides relief to our tariff-impacted sectors, including steel, auto, forestry, and copper. If the federal government can't achieve that, they need to hit back hard against U.S. tariffs and provide additional supports for the workers and businesses in these sectors. Encouraging signs today when it comes to Canada's economic prospects. June numbers show an increase in retail sales, suggesting growth when many were predicting a recession. Camille Karamali reports.
Retail analysts say this growth doesn't necessarily show signs of a super strong economy, but it's not as bad as many expected given the trade war. Retail sales rose 1.5% to more than $70 billion. That's because all 9 Canadian sectors showing either no change or an increase in sales for June. The sectors with the highest increases compared to May: clothing with over 5% growth, building material with supplies with over 2%, and food and beverage seeing more than a 2% increase in sales. Across the country, Ontario saw one of the biggest retail sale increases at over 3%. Quebec remained unchanged, while BC and Alberta saw 1.5% and 1% increases in sales. In May, retail sales slumped, dropping more than 1%, largely because of a fall in vehicle sales, with tariffs on aluminum and steel and the trade war playing a role. But for June, auto sales remained mostly unchanged, climbing less than 1%.
If we talk about, for things from a consumer standpoint, we are still seeing wage gains happening. The labor market is starting to, contract a little bit, but not a heck of a lot yet. It's mostly concentrated in tariff-related sectors where we're starting to see the bleeding happen. And so as a result, consumers are still spending.
As for July, Statistics Canada says retail sales are expected to drop by 0.8%. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Good evening and happy weekend. Skies will remain clear overnight. Watch for a bit of fog through the overnight and first thing tomorrow morning. It should mix out quite quickly. Lots of sunshine to start your Saturday if you are heading out in the morning. Winds will be light first thing. Thanks, Caroline, for this photo. Your pup is jumping in. If you're going to jump in this weekend, temperatures are going to be nice and warm. Saturday into Sunday, a bit cooler, but by Monday, we're talking fall-like conditions. I'll have your local forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Julie Atchison joins me on the desk now. Julie, can you call it a perfect day out there? It is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you absolutely can call it a perfect day. Low humidity, sunshine, and really just light winds. It doesn't get much better than that, especially in southern Ontario this time of year. Today was one of those days you wanted to last through the forecast. Unfortunately, things will be shifting tomorrow afternoon into the evening as a cold front, Lauren, will be approaching the area with the chance of showers. Mid-20s across the area. Temperatures tonight a bit warmer than it was last night. A few degrees warmer. 16 in London overnight, 15 in Mount Forest and KW. Fog developing overnight. As we head into tomorrow morning, skies will be clear. You could see some early morning fog, so if you're heading out before sunrise, just be aware of that. We've been under the influence of high pressure, and that high will be drifting off to the east. A low pressure system in northern Ontario tonight will be moving east, northeast, and dragging this cold front in for tomorrow afternoon, evening. We have about a 40% chance of showers with the possibility of a thunderstorm as this front slowly slumps down towards the area. Cool conditions. Yes, temperatures are set to drop off early next week. By Monday, we'll be talking fall-like conditions in the area. So front comes in tomorrow afternoon with some scattered showers and thunderstorms, but we start the day with full sunshine. But here's the line. It's a fairly narrow ribbon of moisture coming in. You can see a few thunderstorms expected as we push towards Lambton Shore, so in and around Grand Bend in the afternoon, towards Southampton, all those beach communities. The front will quickly exit the area in terms of the prefrontal showers. So it'll take time for the cooler air to come in, but that really small area of rain and thunderstorms will exit out by about 8 o'clock, and then skies will go back to partly cloudy to mainly clear overnight behind the front. Then on Sunday, the cold air starts to slowly come in, and what that does is generate cloud cover and spotty showers. So we still have a low probability of rainfall in London on Sunday, but 30%. So you can see little showers popping up. Lots of instability, that leads to some scattered showers. So that's that cool air in the upper atmosphere that's coming down over Lake Huron, and that generates some light rainfall. Daytime highs, 24 to 26 degrees through your Saturday. It's going to be nice and warm in the afternoon, 27 in Sarnia. By Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud, and we dip to 23. Monday, that's when the cool air starts to, you'll notice. So first thing Monday morning, the temperature is down to about 11. So perhaps you'll have your windows open and you'll be enjoying the comfortable conditions. A little bit of a fall preview, a mix of sun and cloud Tuesday, sunshine Wednesday and Thursday. We're back up to 23 on Thursday and Friday, a mix of sun and cloud, and 24. Midwestern Ontario, a bit more in the way of rain for you in the forecast. And of course, the reason is your proximity to Lake Huron. So mainly cloudy with scattered showers expected as we push through Sunday, Monday, into Tuesday. Daytime highs just into the upper teens, so taking a bit of a dive and well below normal, but we'll get back there. Wednesday, Thursday, temperatures recover anywhere from 20 to 22, and we'll hit 23 on Friday with a mix of sun and cloud. Have a fantastic weekend. Lauren, back to you.
Thank you for that, Julie. There are concerns tonight for those who rely on disability benefits, with reports that people have not received them. CTV's Adrian Gabriel is following this story.
Canadians who depend on federal disability benefits have been left with an empty feeling at the ATM this week.
I checked and it's not there, and I went, okay, no breakfast.
In July, Ottawa began making payments through its new federal disability benefit that tops out at $200 a month for a total of $2,400 a year.
It lets them buy some essential over-the-counter painkillers, maybe, pay for their food, pay a backlog of bills and debt, pay their rent.
This past Thursday, Canadians living with a disability, like Victoria State, were supposed to receive the program's second payment. Many have been left empty-handed.
Excuse me, you started a program for people who are struggling.
CTV News called the Canada Disability Benefit Call Centre hotline. We were greeted with this voicemail.
Due to a system issue, some Canada Disability Benefit payments issued by direct deposit for the month of August 2025 will be delayed. We apologize for the inconvenience.
In March, Prime Minister Mark Carney eliminated multiple cabinet positions, including the now former Minister for Diversity, Inclusion, and Persons with Disabilities. Advocates say issues like this are proof that Carney's move was a mistake.
This basically means that we are lumped into a huge portfolio that the current Minister of Jobs and Families is responsible for. So we are not a top priority.
We asked the federal government for an explanation as to why payments haven't been made. A spokesperson didn't directly answer our questions, saying in part, they are pleased to confirm that the majority of CDB payments are completed. A limited number of client payments remain outstanding due to an isolated systems issue.
You don't start a program and then drop the ball. Thank you very much. You people are getting a paycheck. You got a paycheck because you can get food. I don't got a paycheck and I got no food.
There was some good news late this afternoon. Following our questions to the federal government, we began to hear from some who say they've now received their deposits. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Aurora, Ontario.
Emergency crews are responding to a fatal tour bus crash in New York State. The crash happened on a highway about 45 kilometers east of Buffalo early this afternoon. New York police say more than 50 people were on the bus. They say the driver lost control hit the median, then crashed into a ditch. Police haven't said how many people were killed, but they say one of them is a child and several people were trapped under the bus. The bus is believed to have been en route to New York City after a trip to Niagara Falls. A provincial park in eastern Ontario is taking a different approach when it comes to attracting tourists. It's home to a historic mine dating back to the early 1900s. Peter Sperling takes us underground for a look.
Put on a hard hat and step back in time.
Welcome to the Silver Queen Mine.
This is the Silver Queen Mine at Murphy's Point Provincial Park, outside of Perth.
It's amazing. Our mine here is unique in the Ontario park system. It's the only one of its kind across Ontario parks.
But don't let the word silver fool you.
You can see the silvery-like shine.
This was primarily a mica, a type of mineral mine operating more than 100 years ago.
So I have a lantern here, and it might look like glass or maybe plastic, but this is sheets of mica on these side panels.
Throughout the mine, all over the walls and the ground, there's a sparkle, and that's mica. And while you can touch it while you're here, of course, it's a provincial park, so you can't take it with you. And visitors can get up close and explore.
We didn't even know that this existed here.
This family visiting from Barrie, Ontario, camping at the park for the week, now learning how the mine operated from 1903 to 1920.
It's beautiful. It's also incredible to see how hard people worked.
I would say of all the parks that we've been to, this one is the most unique experience we've had.
The mine is only accessible on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays through a guided tour or an open house Sundays until Labor Day.
These tours are quite popular. We often fill up. This is a really special place down here.
On this day, 80 visitors.
So just glad that there was something like this here and we're able to appreciate and enjoy.
It's the first time. We've lived here for 6 years and I've never come to the mining tour before, and it's fantastic.
This has been a really cool experience. I've never been underground or in a mine before.
Visitors are asked to pre-register with the park for tours. Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Well, that's our time tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Lauren Stallone. We'll see you next time. Have a good night.